Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Cut the chatter. You ain't talking money.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Riggs here. So, today I just wanted to talk about something that's been ringing in my DMs and ringing in my timeline. So, over the last few months, I've been seeing the sentiment more and more that Atlus doesn't really operate the way that they used to. They got greedy, they got selfish, they sold out. They're on a downward spiral, okay? They're in the Joker arc.
I'm the Joker, baby!
Anyway, like I said, people really have been kind of fed up with Atlus lately, especially when it comes to the last few years. I think Atlus has gotten a lot of criticism, which, let's be honest, is mostly deserved. Especially when it comes to their shady business practices, and I can kind of see why. So anyway, today, I'm going to expose Atlus and reach out to the truth.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet.
So, before I go any further, I think there is a clear disparity to be made in regards to Atlus's shitty practices. I think that some of them are just a result of them being fucking incompetent, rather than them being actually malicious or greedy, which I'll touch on in a little bit, don't worry. But one perfect example of their sheer incompetence is announcing shit too fucking early. Like, I don't think I need to remind anyone of the infamous Persona 5 teaser. Like, they announced their game super early on in development when they're nowhere even close to being completed, and because of that, we have to wait literally years for updates or announcements because they were too stupid enough to reveal it early. And they said it would be winter 2014. Meanwhile, it didn't even drop until late 2016 in Japan and 2017 in the West. And it was the same thing with SMT5, right? They announced it in 2017 when development had just started and there wasn't anything to show off, and we had to wait in radio silence for nearly 4 years before we got any more information about it. Like, for a while, there was this discourse going around on if Persona had actually replaced SMT, and it ended up just not being the case. It's just that Atlus was fucking incompetent when it came to announcing their games. Like, I really don't see why they just can't announce shit when it's actually ready, right? And it's hard to talk about Atlus's incompetence without mentioning the Persona 25th anniversary. I don't want to go too in-depth here because I already covered it in my last video and I don't really want to seem redundant, but that is a perfect example, right? They constantly hyped up events to be cool shit, and it turned out to just be merchandise or Japan-exclusive events. At one point, they even had to do damage control and they just made the merchandise into its own announcement because people just got too fed up with it. But both of those things pale in comparison to...
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet.
Hey, do you guys like re-releases? I sure do. I love seeing a nearly 20-year-old game that came out on the PS2 being released for full price. And for fuck's sake, Dante is being sold for an extra $10 as DLC, despite being in the base game 19 years ago. It's the same deal with the re-release of Persona 5 Royal, which is technically like a re-release of a re-release, but whatever. They charged $60 fucking for a 6-year-old game that came out on the PS3. I hope to God they don't pull this sort of shit with Persona 3 and 4 coming to Steam, because that would be a fucking mess. And don't even get me started on their fucking day one DLC. Every game that they come out with now has to have a bunch of DLC on its release. I mean, for fuck's sake, the DLC for Persona 5 Royal costed more than the game itself. It sucks because the DLC for Persona 5 Royal actually has really cool boss fights, and a lot of people just won't be able to experience that because they're locked behind a paywall. And from what I've heard, the Soul Hackers DLC isn't nearly as atrocious, but it still isn't very good at all, what with all the costume packs and whatnot. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine, shout out to you, Inc., and one of his points was that Persona 5 was Atlus's biggest release of all time, and that after it came out, Atlus saw the numbers it was doing, and then they basically got lazy with their practices in their games. And they have milked, and milked, and milked Persona 5. So much so that the well is about dried up, and it's completely oversaturated. And most of their games that have come out in the last few years have been met with pretty mixed reactions for the most part. And a lot of their shitty practices, especially with DLC, didn't get that bad until the release of Persona 5. Sure, they've had some shitty practices before that, but it seems after 2017 they just got way more shady with how they conducted their business. I don't want to get too in-depth here, because there's a million videos talking about how shitty their DLC is, and I actually want to get this video out sometime in the next decade, so I figured I'd just briefly bring it up, because I do think it's relevant when talking about Atlus's seemingly endless spiral into the abyss. One last thing I'd like to touch on is merchandise. Everybody loves merchandise. Even me. I love a pair of Teddy socks. But Atlus seems to take it a step further. You know that meme where it's like, Thing versus Thing Japan? Yeah, that's basically Atlus's merch line. I mean, who doesn't love Persona makeup? I already touched on this quite a lot in my Persona 25th video, so I don't want to seem super redundant, but this is fucking ridiculous. Like, who would pay money for this? And this is why Atlus needs to put me, world-renowned, famous YouTuber, Riggs the Villain, in charge of their merchandise, because after all, I am your biggest fan. And if I was placed as head of the merchandise department, I promise that I would bring back the fucking Teddy sock.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet.
At the end of the day, this video doesn't really come from a place of spite, even though it might seem like it. I actually really like Atlus and their games, or at least I used to. I'm just tired of seeing one of my favorite game studios consistently drop the ball when it comes to just about everything. And with that, I can officially kiss any chance I had at an Atlus sponsorship goodbye. But that's okay, because I'm a man of the people. Anyway, thank you all for watching. My apologies if I sounded a little off in this video. I am currently recovering from being sick. I probably could have made this video a lot longer, but again, I needed to get this video out. We're nearing 100 subscribers, so if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it.
You know, real quick, I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
I'm hoping to get more consistent with these videos moving forward. I have a few videos in the works, including a Persona 3 video when that comes out on Steam, as well as a manga review. So look forward to that. I hope you all have a happy new year, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.
Hello, my name is Yoshikaga Kara, and I suggest you subscribe to Riggs the Villain.